In 1998, a group of young investigators entered the Blackpine Forest to film a documentary about local ghost sightings. They had cameras, maps, and confidence, but they never came out. What happened inside those woods remains one of the most chilling mysteries in modern history. And tonight, we're going to uncover the truth behind their disappearance. In March 2011, a small team of paranormal investigators known as the Spectre Unit set out to document their latest exploration: an abandoned psychiatric hospital deep in the forests near Rouen, France. The building had been closed since 1979 after a massive fire destroyed its eastern wing, killing at least 30 patients and 2 doctors. Local authorities sealed it off permanently, warning that the structure was unsafe. But the Spectre Unit was never the type to listen to warnings. Led by Marc Delon, a 32-year-old documentarian obsessed with the supernatural, the team planned to record a 48-hour investigation using night vision cameras and wireless microphones. They wanted to prove or disprove the rumors that something still moved inside the burned corridors. At exactly 7:43 p.m. on March 19th, their van's GPS showed the last known coordinates near the hospital's main gate. The last transmission received from Mark's headset came only an hour later. A distorted whisper followed by static. "If anyone hears this, it's not empty." That was the final communication ever recorded from the Spectre Unit. No one has seen or heard from the 5 investigators since that night. 3 months after their disappearance, local hikers stumbled upon what appeared to be a half-buried camera case near the hospital's northern fence. Inside were 3 damaged SD cards and a cracked GoPro lens covered in ash and soil. Authorities immediately dispatched a recovery team, assuming they had found evidence of foul play. When forensic technicians examined the footage, they found over 6 hours of corrupted video, flickering lights, distorted audio, and brief shots of empty hallways lined with rusted beds. But in the last 30 minutes of the final file, the screen stabilized just enough to show Mark and his teammates standing in front of a burned elevator shaft. One of them, Elena Rousseau, whispered something in French. "Ce n'est pas el hospital. C'est un bouche." This isn't a hospital. It's a mouth. Seconds later, the footage ends abruptly. A blinding flash, followed by the sound of heavy breathing and a metallic screech echoing through the corridor. Experts declared the noise unidentifiable. Investigators later confirmed that several hours of footage were missing, precisely between 1 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. on the second night. During that window, one of the team's handheld cameras was found turned off but placed upright on a staircase, as if someone had deliberately positioned it to face the dark. When technicians enhanced the final frames, they discovered a shadow, tall, elongated, and motionless, standing in the far end of the hall. No member of the Spectre Unit matched the figure's height or build. Authorities initially suspected a hoax, but thermal analysis of the footage showed a faint heat signature consistent with a living presence, not a static object. The mystery deepened further when it was revealed that the hospital's blueprints didn't include. During a search of Marc Delon's apartment, detectives found a handwritten field journal hidden behind a false panel in his study. The notebook contained drawings of the hospital's floor plan, notes about electromagnetic readings, and repeated phrases written in capital letters. "They remember the fire. IT never stopped burning." In one entry, dated just 3 days before the disappearance, Mark wrote, "Elena says she heard someone calling my name through the old intercom system during the scouting visit. The hospital's power has been cut since 1980. I told her it's probably the wind, but I lied. I heard it too." The journal was later analyzed by handwriting experts and confirmed to be authentic. The last page ends with a single line: "If I don't make it back, tell them the walls breathe." In 2013, 2 years after the team's disappearance, a new documentary crew requested permission to shoot at the same location. When municipal authorities arrived to survey the area, they found no trace of the hospital itself. The entire structure, once visible on satellite images, had seemingly collapsed or vanished. Drone scans showed only a crater-like depression, surrounded by what looked like melted concrete and metal remains. Radiation tests showed mild but unexplained spikes, leading to the site's permanent closure by the French Ministry of Health. Locals claim that on some foggy nights, the forest still glows faintly blue, and anyone who walks too close can hear distant recordings, fragments of voices calling through static. "We found it. We're not alone." In early 2014, a small group of audio engineers from Lyon University analyzed the recovered recordings again, this time focusing on inaudible frequencies hidden beneath the static. At precisely 19.7 Hz, a low hum appeared, a tone so deep it could cause disorientation and fear in humans. But layered within that tone were patterns resembling human speech. When slowed down, the voice became clearer. It repeated the same phrase over and over, "Don't open the door." However, there was one chilling inconsistency. No doors were ever filmed in that part of the hospital. Experts suggested the sound might have been recorded from within the walls themselves. An archived police radio log dated August 17, 2011, captured a transmission believed to be from one of the missing crew. The signal came from the forest surrounding the hospital site, though the facility was already reported to have collapsed. The message was fragmented, but parts of it were decipherable. "This is Mark. We're under the floor. It's moving. The lights are inside now." Then, a violent static burst cut him off. The dispatcher reported hearing a second voice, a whisper that repeated Mark's words, syllable by syllable, seconds after he spoke them. The recording was later sealed by French authorities and labeled unreleased. Psychological hazard. A leaked memo from the 1970s suggested that the abandoned hospital was once used for psychological warfare experiments during the Cold War. It referenced something called Project CLAT, a classified program allegedly designed to test sensory deprivation and hallucination induction. Witness accounts from retired staff mentioned patients who spoke in reverse sentences and reacted violently to mirrors. Some claimed that after the final fire in 1979, no human bodies were ever recovered, only melted stretchers and organic residue that breathed. Historians later found that every surviving staff member of the hospital died under mysterious circumstances between 1981 and 1983, mostly due to suffocation, despite being found in open air. In 2016, an elderly man appeared at a Paris hospital claiming to be Jean-Luc Marichal, one of the electricians who worked at the facility before it burned. He was pale, trembling, and partially blind. Doctors described his pupils as almost mirror-like. Jean-Luc refused to enter rooms with white walls and repeatedly muttered, "The lights found a body." When shown a photo of the missing Spectre unit, he began screaming and scratched his own face, saying, "They let it use their eyes." He died 2 days later of cardiac arrest. Autopsy revealed something impossible. Traces of burned dust embedded in his lungs identical to the ash from the hospital site. In 2018, an independent researcher from Berlin named Clara Voss claimed to intercept a shortwave broadcast matching the original frequencies used by the Spectre unit. It lasted only 47 seconds, consisting of distorted breathing and faint background humming. In the final second, a voice whispered directly into the mic, "We finished mapping the dark." Clara traced the signal's origin to the same coordinates as the vanished hospital. Yet satellite data showed the forest was undisturbed. 2 weeks later, Clara herself went missing. Her laptop was found open, displaying one unfinished sentence. "It's not gone, it's underneath." In 2019, a retired data analyst named Pierre Lemaitre, formerly with the French Ministry of Defense, leaked a 12-second clip he claimed was recovered from private archives. The footage showed a night vision camera aimed at a corridor filled with debris. For the first 8 seconds, nothing moved. Then, a mirror fragment lying against the wall shifted slightly, reflecting 5 silhouettes standing at the end of the hall. The problem? Only 4 investigators ever entered that corridor according to the team's original mapping logs. Frame by frame, the reflection moved closer, until the glass cracked, and the 5th figure seemed to crawl out of the reflection itself. Investigators from the French gendarmerie reportedly recovered sealed archives labeled Blackout Section 51A. Inside were photographs of the hospital ruins taken in 1982, showing light anomalies forming human outlines suspended above the collapsed east wing. Witness reports claimed the light moved like smoke and gave off a low, rhythmic pulse, almost like a heartbeat. One image in particular stood out. A scorched door frame with 5 black handprints burned into the concrete, each the exact size of the missing Spectre unit members. After this discovery, all files were reclassified as non-terrestrial phenomena. In late 2020, villagers from a nearby town, St. Aubin-sur-Science, reported seeing dim blue lights moving among the forest trees near the old hospital site. Dogs barked through the night, and locals described hearing metal dragging on concrete from deep underground. A farmer claimed to have seen figures wearing old recording gear, wandering silently through the fog. He said their faces looked blurred, as if something was moving underneath their skin. When police searched the area the next morning, they found fresh footprints leading to where the hospital once stood, and ending abruptly at the edge of a sinkhole that hadn't been there the day before. In 2022, a YouTube channel called Urban Echoes FR uploaded a video titled Unseen Spectre Footage. The clip, barely 2 minutes long, showed grainy handheld footage of the hospital interior. Halfway through, the camera pans toward a mirror, reflecting the face of the cameraman, Mark Delon. He looks older, unshaven, and terrified. He whispers, "It's still hungry." Then the image collapses into static, and the video abruptly ends. Forensics traced the upload location to an IP address inside the restricted perimeter of the old hospital site, a place supposedly buried beneath the forest floor decades ago. By 2023, an independent filmmaker named Lucien Marchel decided to create a documentary about the Spectre unit. During his shoot, he visited the edge of the original site and found a piece of scorched mirror buried beneath the soil. When he cleaned it, faint fingerprints appeared, 5 of them perfectly aligned. Later that night, while editing, Lucien noticed something horrifying. His reflection on the monitor blinked a second later than he did. He shut down the camera, but before the screen went black, a message flickered briefly across the reflection. "You finished mapping the dark." Lucien never released his film. 6 months later, his apartment was found empty. Camera equipment still recording, facing a mirror with 5 smudged handprints. As the remaining members of the investigation team retraced their steps through the dense forest, they noticed that the trees around them had changed shape. The once familiar landmarks were gone. The compass spun wildly, and the GPS showed they were in the middle of an unmarked black void. Then, a voice, distorted and echoing, came through their radio, calling each of them by name. It wasn't any of the missing members. It sounded like all of them speaking together in a slow, layered whisper. They followed the source of the signal and stumbled upon a clearing filled with the team's missing equipment. Cameras still recording, tents collapsed, and half-eaten food scattered on the ground. One camera was still pointed at the forest's edge. Its lens cracked, but it captured something horrifying. Tall, thin figures standing between the trees, motionless, faceless, and yet watching. That night, the last remaining member, Sarah, set up her camera and spoke directly into it, trembling. "If anyone finds this, we were wrong. This isn't a forest. It's a place that remembers." Her flashlight flickered, and behind her, faint silhouettes began to appear, growing closer. The recording ends abruptly with a loud static noise, followed by a single whisper, "Stay." Weeks later, local authorities found the remains of the camp, but not a single trace of the team. Every piece of footage retrieved from their devices showed the same impossible thing. Footage of themselves walking into the forest again and again, as if trapped in a loop that never ended. Some officers reported hearing whispers even while reviewing the evidence. To this day, the location remains off-limits, surrounded by warning signs. But occasionally, hikers claim to hear distant radio chatter, voices calling for help in broken static. Some even say they saw lights flicker deep between the trees. The mystery of the missing team has never been solved, and their final message echoes forever. The forest remembers. What really happened that night might never be known. But one thing's for sure, something inside Blackpine Forest doesn't want to be found. If you ever visit those woods, don't go alone.